So hey there, it's Keith. What's up? This is my room. This is where I live. Um, that's my altar space right there. Kind of crazy in here because I still haven't fully moved into my house yet. But this is not about my life in transition and the remodeling of my house and all that stuff. This is about writing wishes out and stuff like that. That crazy of note, you're probably wondering, what's that crazy metallic thing back there? I've got to put that back together. That's this weird shape that when I was doing ozone therapy, this guy that did that was telling me that, well, he actually showed me it actually generates energy, that specific shape when it's made of metal, and it's kind of come apart. I got to get it back together. It's not such a big deal. But somebody was asking me if I still sleep on a magnetic bed, and so this is an interesting thing because I made the decision this year that I'm kind of as it stands right now, I'm 100% celibate and I intend to stay that way because it's just too much trouble that comes with my soul trajectory and being involved with people. And that's a whole other video. So that's my magnetic bed. Somebody asked me if I still sleep on a magnetic bed. Yes, I do. I have been for 5.5 years. And so this is about the list for this time. So I'm doing like these detailed lists. I have a bunch of stuff here. Um, this is what you want to do. Is like, oh, I was over there originally because I wanted to tell you that I journal a lot. You see those stacks of like spiral bound that are right below the mirror that are stacked up on those books. There's like 8 of them, and then over by that drawer thing, by that little copper bucket, there's like a bunch more. Those are all journals from my like not even my whole life, like probably from the last 10 years, probably, because it takes me a couple years sometimes to fill up one journal. This one is coming to an end here. This one right here. Um, this one's been around for about 3 years, so and it has a lot of cool shit in there. That right there, this is my Samhain list from last year. And everything on this list came true. The only thing that didn't is that complete business promotion, social networking, website, to a degree, because 2016 was a crazy fucking year, dude. And so I actually didn't put out a record this year. And some of that stuff has to do with my this blog. I think this blog's important. I don't consider it a business. I consider it a networking thing. I've gotten more attention from my music through this than, that's actually not true. I've gotten a fuck ton of plays on Spotify. But the fact that those only pay like 1/10 of a cent per play or 100th of a cent per play. So I just obsessively wrote down all this shit that was blowing me away last year. I really had this thing of getting back into Krishna core, Hare Krishna, and these people, Ray Capo, Vic DeCara, Rob Fish, and all of these people, because I was crazy about Krishna core in 1995 and I rediscovered it, and I was just amazed that these people were like really cool people. Still, because a lot of rock stars and stuff that I liked when I was a kid are kind of pathetic fucking dumb fucks. So I don't even have to write a bunch of these stuff down because 100% raw food, blah, 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 sproutarian, all that crap. I do all that. Like, I don't have a kitchen now, a stove. So all of that stuff, yeah, it's all. And there's the back page of that. I'm happy with that. So this is the new one. I wanted to go through that to like make sure that there wasn't anything that I wanted to bring through. And so yoga every day. I'm becoming really intense on yoga. Epic meditator. I've had that in my life. I've let go of it. It's hard to stay onto a practice of that. It's really easy to let go. Juicing every day. It's been one of the best years of my life. I could still do better. I just need to get more into healing disciplines of like, I have a whole new protocol for getting the virus out of my body. And so I'm controlling the virus. I don't take meds, but I need to get the virus out of my body. And I have a whole plan with that. And plus I'm like just obsessed with this whole like agelessness, youthing, and just getting on with that. And I'm really into like being active, and I wrote a lot of that stuff down. Like that's never been a big thing with me. I've been always like more art minded. It has been a big thing with me, but when I stopped my normal day job, I was a very active person working as a surveyor, grade checker in the like mass grading industry of Southern California. And when I got away from that, the last thing I wanted to do was continuing to be like really active. In fact, when you see a lot of the aging stuff that's on me, a lot of 50-year-olds could say, oh, like their skin looks better than mine. I've been out in the sun like longer than anybody, like from whatever. I mean, I'm just like, so I actually had a long period of the last 7 or 8 years of not being so active. So I'm really focusing on running and hiking and climbing. I do all these things, but I want them to be like more deeper into my life. And climbing, I just got an obsession with climbing from something that I saw on Tumblr and stuff like that. And so I have all of these affirmations and stuff that I've done. A lot of there's the new moon tomorrow, 10:38 a.m. You know, some little, like, I got really obsessed. I'm a big Yes fan, and the song Close to the Edge is about Siddhartha, and I've been, like, dropping this phrase everywhere. I am Siddhartha, meaning I'm into all religions. Stuff like that. Um, you know, when I was younger, I had a lot of determination. I do have a lot of determination as a 53-year-old, but it's still not enough for me. And I don't ever want to plateau out. I want to just keep moving and doing stuff. And, you know, and a big thing with me is I think people have a tendency to kind of become bitter, like when their relationships don't work out. And that's kind of like why I've decided to become celibate. And I actually have better relationships. Like I have so many cool friends now and different friends and stuff like that. And I really decided I'm only into things that are deep. I don't want like mediocre like connections and stuff and people that I got to watch my behavior around. And so a lot of that's all in there, all of that kind of stuff. This list has got to be made better. It's got to be. I'm writing this on some paper. Like this is a rough draft. I'm just getting it together. And over here, so this one's actually my dream journal, and I'm writing it in here because I'm running out of journal paper. Like this one, it's so ironic. This one's down to its last sheet here, and so I'm writing something to go in the spell jar, and it's going to get buried in the ground, but I want to have a copy of it. So I'm actually going to wind up writing this stuff down like probably 2 or 3 times. So there's some basic things that I'm really grateful for this year, of like these realizations that I had in this whole like shift and this meltdown and stuff. And it says, let me just try to read it through the camera. I am mirroring my actual authentic higher self, and the focused goals I've known are my direction. Meaning that like I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say about anything. I know what's right in me, and I'm doing that. And anybody that like wants to try and get in my way better get the fuck out of my way, or they ain't gonna be my friend no more. That's for sure. Or we're not gonna have anything to do with each other. I don't even care. So my new self attracts abundance and easily recognizes blocks. So I do pretty well with that. Like, but I just want to be like making like a way more serious living off of like music and even this vegan thing. Like I've always been resistant to like the whole nutrition thing of being my focus, but I like them to be intertwined, you know, because that's how I got into to wellness was through music. And so I move fast forward into ageless youthing. Like I know I don't look young. I know I don't, but ageless, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I want people to like, what is up with that guy? Like, you know, and I don't care about how I dress or how I do anything. I just do what the fuck I want. And so this one's actually a big one because my house really came to the forefront. And And so this is my house, my property, my music, my spirituality, my extreme view of wellness, and my focus are my secure foundation in this dimension, in in the body I have. Oh, I need to correct that. I will, as long as I choose to be here. So I know that, like, I plan to retire this life as a breatharian, and I plan to ascend with my body, you know. And so I know there's a lot of serious work I got to do, and a big part of that is like starting on Halloween, which is the day after tomorrow, and this is when all this is going in the spell jar, and some of this stuff hasn't been written down. But I'm going on a purification program for 7 years. I'm taking together all the stuff that I know from being a life Foodist, of following Ann Wigmore and Victor Torres Kolvinskas with like wheatgrass, sprouts. Um, I'm going on regular like fasting phases of like when the new moon hits, I'm doing juicing and blended fasts and stuff. And then when the full moon hits, then I'm going back to like just eating regular food. And that's going to be always sprouts. Sprouts, sprouts, sprouts. The only thing that's like conventional food is the stuff I'm going to juice, the greens and carrots and stuff like that I'm going to get from Costco. And I'm writing all that down. These are all just like kind of more of the primary stuff. I don't know, some of this other stuff I got to create and innovate. Like I'm really interested in innovating and stuff like that. And so the reason I wrote this in my dream journal is because this sucker is down to its last couple pages. And so I want to sew up this journal with my spell jar. And so I did a rough draft of stuff here of a lot of these lists. The climbing is going to be a really big fucking thing, and I'm doing that before the end of the year because I don't want it to be on my 2017 resolutions. I'm joining a climbing gym, and that's a pretty big step for me. I actually kind of fell into like being obsessed with that through yoga and looking at like a bunch of shit on YouTube and whatnot, and I pulled some tarot cards on that. I should have got those tarot cards out and put them out here that was just saying, pay attention, you need to start climbing, and yeah. So I'm doing that, and that's kind of a really scary big thing. Along with I'm doing Vipassana in November, but that's another thing, that's a video by itself. But this climbing thing, this is a big, big thing. Because I'm not somebody that has a lot of overall strength. You know, I've actually dropped a lot of weight, and I'm stronger, and I've like, the reason I've dropped weight is I realize I have a really small frame, and I've actually become stronger, a lot stronger, because I'm not like pushing around or having to like have strength with a body that's not actually mine. Because even though I'm really tall and I have really wide shoulders, I'm actually a really small framed guy. Like, I don't know, I'm holding the camera, but I can wrap my fingers around my wrist. So a lot of good things I'm doing, and I'm excited about a lot of stuff. So this is the list. And so I'll get back with you tomorrow. A lot of this stuff is going to get transferred onto parchment, and I'm going to put a lot of stuff in the spell jar, some like feathers and some acorns and probably some crystals, and I'm going to go and unearth the Samhain jar that I did last year, and I don't remember what's in there. It's good to forget about all that stuff. I'm going to make some sigils. Yep, I sure am, and put those in there, and I'm going to have some of those around the house and stuff. And like I said, I manifested 90%. And the fact that like with business and stuff that I got, like I wound up getting owned and stuff from like my bandmates like dragging their feet trying to get, like, I had a record done and ready, and that's another story. All right, this is a long video, but here's all. Do something like this and follow me and manifest your dreams, okay? It's Keith. Bye. Support me by supporting my music. Links in the drop down. Second-culture.com, secondculture.bandcamp.com. It's kind of late at night. Not that late for what a busy day I had today. So tomorrow's the new moon. Get all this stuff going. And then we transfer all this stuff into the spell jar on Halloween, on Samhain. All right, bye.